Welcome, dear listener. Tonight, we drift together into the vast and mysterious blue world that covers more than 70% of our planet, the ocean. It is a place where silence and sound coexist, where immense currents travel unseen across thousands of kilometers, and where trenches plunge deeper than the tallest mountains rise. For centuries, humans have gazed upon the horizon, sensing both comfort and mystery in the endless sea. In this calm journey, we will explore 25 amazing facts about the oceans of the world. Each fact is a gem, polished by science, history, and wonder. From glowing creatures in the dark abyss to the mighty Gulf Stream that warms entire continents, the story of the ocean is also the story of life itself. Before we begin, I gently invite you to join our community of curious dreamers. If you find this voyage soothing and enriching, please consider liking this video and subscribing to the channel. But only if it feels natural, and only if you truly enjoy drifting into knowledge in this way. I would also love to know, where are you listening from? Which city, which country, and what time of night or day is it as you let these words carry you? Share it in the comments. It's always a joy to see how the ocean unites us across the globe. Now, let us step softly into the first wave of knowledge, where water itself holds secrets that shape life, climate, and the rhythms of the earth. The first fact may seem simple, but it carries immense weight. The ocean is the largest habitat on Earth. It covers about 361 million square kilometers, stretching across latitudes from the icy Arctic to the warm tropics, and from the shallow coasts to the crushing darkness of the deep. This sheer size makes the ocean the true heart of our planet. It regulates temperature, drives weather systems, and sustains countless forms of life, from microscopic plankton to the largest animal ever known, the blue whale. The second fact flows naturally from the first. The ocean contains about 97% of all water on Earth. Fresh water, which nourishes rivers, lakes, and our daily lives, is only a tiny fraction by comparison. This reminds us that the ocean is not only a vast expanse to sail upon or admire, but also the central reservoir of the planet's water cycle, the endless circulation, clouds, and rain that keeps our world alive. As you listen, you might notice the rhythm of waves in your imagination, as if each fact washes gently upon the shore of your mind. Let us glide deeper. Our third fact speaks of the ocean's unseen highways, the currents. Like rivers within the sea, these flows of water regulate climate and connect continents. The Gulf Stream, for instance, carries warm waters from the Gulf of Mexico across the Atlantic, softening winters in Europe and supporting ecosystems along the way. Without these currents, climates would be harsher, and entire civilizations might never have flourished where they did. Fourth, beneath the surface, the ocean floor is not flat. It is a world of mountains, valleys, and canyons hidden by the waves. The Mid-Atlantic Ridge, for example, is the longest mountain range on Earth, stretching about 65,000 kilometers, mostly underwater. Along this ridge, tectonic plates slowly pull apart, creating new seafloor. This constant creation and recycling remind us that the Earth itself is alive, its surface shaped over eons by deep processes we rarely see. For our fifth fact, we descend into darkness, into the abyssal plains and trenches. The Mariana Trench in the western Pacific is the deepest known place in the ocean, reaching about 11,000 meters below sea level. To imagine this, picture Mount Everest, and then place it inside this trench with room to spare. At these depths, pressure is 1,000 times greater than at the surface, yet life still finds a way to thrive. Creatures adapted to the dark and crushing conditions remind us of the resilience and creativity of evolution. As we begin this journey, we see that the ocean is not one story, but many stories of size, of movement, of hidden worlds, and of life in extremes. Each fact is a small wave, but together they form an ocean of knowledge. Now, with calm curiosity, we shall continue, allowing the next part to reveal more of the wonders that ripple beneath the surface of our world's seas. As we continue our calm exploration, let us turn to the ocean's quiet but powerful influence on climate and life itself. The sea is not simply a vast container of water. It is the living engine of the planet. Our sixth fact begins with temperature. The ocean absorbs, stores, and redistributes heat on a global scale. More than 90% of the excess heat trapped by greenhouse gases is taken in by the sea. Without this buffering effect, the air on land would grow far hotter and storms more severe. The ocean's ability to absorb heat regulates the balance of life, ensuring that climates remain livable across continents. In a sense, the ocean is Earth's memory of warmth, storing energy and releasing it slowly. Seventh, the ocean is also the largest carbon sink on the planet. Through processes involving microscopic plants called phytoplankton, it absorbs nearly 1/4 of the carbon dioxide that humanity releases each year. These organisms, floating invisibly near the surface, breathing carbon dioxide and release oxygen. They are tiny, yet their collective action sustains the balance of air that every breath depends on. Half of the oxygen you breathe, this very moment, comes from oceanic plankton. For our eighth fact, we turn to rainfall. The ocean powers the water cycle. It evaporates water into the air, forms clouds, and returns that water as rain or snow. About 86% of global evaporation and 78% of global precipitation occur over the sea. This means that even the rain falling on a distant forest, or the snow blanketing a mountain, owes its existence to the ocean's unseen breath. Our ninth fact flows into currents once more, but this time we consider their deep layers. Scientists speak of the global conveyor belt, a slow looping system of water movement that carries heat and nutrients around the world. Warm surface waters sink in the North Atlantic, traveling through the deep ocean and resurfacing centuries later in distant seas. This cycle connects the oceans into one great system, influencing weather, ecosystems, and even the rise and fall of civilizations that depended on steady climates for farming. For the 10th fact, let us linger on storms. The ocean is both a cradle and a force of nature. Hurricanes, typhoons, and cyclones draw their energy from warm sea surfaces, turning calm waters into spinning giants that can reshape coasts and societies. Yet, these same storms also distribute rainfall to regions that depend on them. In their fury lies balance reminding us that the ocean provides both gentle rains and fierce tempests. Our 11th fact leads us to ice. The ocean does not only flow in liquid form. Polar seas lock water in vast sheets of ice from Greenland to Antarctica. These icy expanses reflect sunlight, cooling the planet, and store fresh water for millennia. If all the ice of Antarctica melted, sea levels would rise more than 50 meters, reshaping every coastline. For now, the ice remains, but its connection to the ocean is delicate. Its stability tied to the warmth the sea carries beneath. 12. Let us consider the twilight zone of the ocean, lying between 200 and 1,000 meters deep. This zone is dim, with light fading, but not fully gone. It is home to strange creatures, lanternfish, hatchetfish, and squid with glowing organs. Many of these animals migrate upward at night to feed, then return to the depth by day. This daily vertical migration, involving billions of organisms, is the largest movement of life on Earth. Yet it happens silently, unseen by human eyes. 13th fact is about coral reefs, often called the rainforests of the sea. Though they cover less than 1% of the ocean floor, they host about a quarter of all marine species. Built by tiny coral polyps that secrete limestone, reefs create vibrant, colorful structures where fish, crustaceans, and countless organisms thrive. They are vital for biodiversity, for coastal protection, and for the human economy through tourism and fishing. Yet, they are fragile, sensitive to temperature changes, pollution, and acidity in the water. Fact 14 draws us to the open ocean, far from coasts. This pelagic realm might appear empty, but it teems with life adapted to its vastness. Tuna, sharks, dolphins, and seabirds traverse these waters, following currents and food sources across thousands of kilometers. Many species here are migratory, connecting oceans in ways that remind us of the interconnectedness of life. For the 15th fact, we return once more to humans. The ocean provides us with more than just food and trade. It shapes culture, mythology, and imagination. From Homer's Odyssey to Polynesian navigation chants, from Norse sea legends to Chinese maritime poetry, the sea has been a teacher of patience, a symbol of mystery, and a source of awe for every civilization. As this part closes, let the thought settle gently. The ocean is not only a body of water. It is a body of life, breath, rhythm, and story. Its waves touch every corner of existence, whether we live near a coast or in a mountain valley. In the next part, we will journey into the history of ocean exploration, from ancient sailors to the deep diving technologies of today, continuing to uncover the secrets of the endless sea. As we drift further into our journey, let us turn to the story of how humanity has come to know the ocean. For most of history, the sea was both a frontier and a mystery, a place of danger, beauty, and endless possibility. The history of ocean exploration is as much about courage and curiosity as it is about sails, compasses, and science. Our 16th fact begins with ancient voyagers. More than 3,000 years ago, the Polynesians of the Pacific Ocean developed some of the most advanced navigation skills in human history. Without compasses or maps, they read the stars, the swells, the flight of seabirds, and even the color of the water to find distant islands across thousands of kilometers. Their double-hulled canoes carried them safely through vast stretches of ocean, settling islands as far apart as Hawaii, Easter Island, and New Zealand. This extraordinary feat of travel shows how deep humanity's connection to the sea has always been. 17th, the Phoenicians of the Mediterranean, around 1200 BCE, were also expert sailors. They built sturdy ships and used coastal navigation to establish trade networks across North Africa, the Middle East, and Europe. Some accounts even suggest they circumnavigated Africa, guided by the sun's position. The Phoenicians demonstrate how early economies and cultures were shaped by maritime travel and commerce. Our 18th fact takes us to the compass, one of the most transformative inventions for ocean exploration. Originating in China during the Han Dynasty, around the 2nd century BCE, it spread through trade to the Middle East and Europe. By the 13th century, the magnetic compass allowed sailors to venture beyond coastlines and into open waters with greater confidence. With this tool, humanity entered a new era of exploration, where the sea became a pathway rather than a barrier. 19th, the age of discovery unfolded between the 15th and 17th centuries, driven by nations like Portugal and Spain. Explorers such as Vasco da Gama and Ferdinand Magellan charted sea routes that connected continents. Magellan's expedition, though he himself did not survive the journey, achieved the first circumnavigation of the Earth, proving that oceans connected all lands into one global sphere. This age expanded not only trade and empire, crops and ideas across oceans. For the 20th fact, let us pause with maps. Early ocean charts, often filled with sea monsters and imaginative symbols, reveal how humans once understood the unknown. Over time, cartography became more precise. By the 18th century, explorers like James Cook were mapping coastlines with remarkable accuracy, expanding geographic knowledge and laying the foundations for modern marine science. Our 21st fact arrives with the invention of sonar in the 20th century. Before sonar, the deep ocean was largely a mystery. Ships dragged weighted ropes to measure depth, a method slow and imprecise. Sonar, developed during World War I, allowed scientists to map the ocean floor with sound waves. This revealed the dramatic landscapes hidden beneath the waves: mid-ocean ridges, trenches, and seamounts, transforming our understanding of the sea. Fact 22 takes us even deeper into the age of submersibles. In 1960, Jacques Piccard and Don Walsh descended into the Mariana Trench aboard the bathyscaphe Trieste, reaching nearly 11,000 meters below the surface. For the first time, humans witnessed the deepest known part of the ocean. Later, explorers like James Cameron would return, capturing images of this silent world. These descents remind us that even in the modern age, the ocean remains one of the last great frontiers. 23rd, satellite technology revolutionized oceanography. From space, satellites measure sea surface temperatures, currents, and even subtle changes in sea level. This bird's-eye view allows scientists to monitor climate patterns, track storms, and understand the vast interplay between ocean and atmosphere. It is a reminder that technology allows us to see the ocean not only from within, but also from above. 24th, exploration today includes remotely operated vehicles, or ROVs. These robotic machines dive to depths far beyond human reach, capturing video and samples. They have discovered new species, hydrothermal vents, and even shipwrecks lost for centuries. With every mission, our OVs extend our knowledge of the ocean, unveiling its hidden beauty with care and precision. Finally, our 25th fact closes this part with a reflection. Despite centuries of exploration, more than 80% of the ocean remains unmapped and unexplored. The sea is still a mystery, vast and humbling. In every expedition, we find not only knowledge, but also the reminder that the world is larger and more complex than we often imagine. As you let these stories drift through your mind, picture the slow unfolding of sails, the stars overhead, the hum of sonar, and the glow of deep-sea creatures. The ocean's story is humanity's story, one of wonder, courage, and endless curiosity. In the next part, we will journey into the hidden worlds of the deep sea, where darkness reigns, yet life shines in astonishing forms. We now glide downward into one of the most extraordinary regions of the ocean, the deep sea. It is a place few have ever seen with their own eyes, yet it makes up the majority of the ocean's volume. Here, sunlight does not reach. Pressure grows immense, and temperatures hover near freezing. But rather than being lifeless, the deep sea is filled with wonders, many of which are still unknown. Our 26th fact begins with the sheer scale of the deep ocean. Everything below 200 meters is considered the deep sea, and that accounts for nearly 90% of the ocean's space. Imagine the largest forests, deserts, and mountains on land. They are dwarfed by the vastness of the world beneath the waves. This realm is Earth's largest habitat, a silent expanse stretching across the globe. Fact 27 brings us to the creatures of darkness. Many species in the deep have evolved bioluminescence, the ability to create light through chemical reactions. From tiny plankton that glow in swirls near the surface to deep-sea anglerfish with luminous lures. Bioluminescence is used to hunt, to hide, and to communicate. In a place where the sun never shines, light itself becomes currency. Our 28th fact introduces hydrothermal vents. These are cracks in the seafloor where seawater seeps down, heats up near magma, and rises back enriched with minerals. First discovered in 1977 near the islands, vents host entire ecosystems powered not by sunlight but by chemosynthesis, bacteria that use chemicals for energy. Towering chimneys, called black smokers, release mineral-rich plumes, creating oases of life in the otherwise barren deep. For fact 29, consider the giant squid. Long a creature of myth and sailors' tales, the giant squid truly exists. With eyes as large as dinner plates and tentacles that may reach more than 10 meters long. Only rarely observed in the wild. It represents the mysterious creatures still hidden from human knowledge, reminding us of how much remains unknown. Fact 30 reveals that life in the deep is slow. In the absence of abundant food, many organisms grow and reproduce at a very gradual pace. The Greenland shark, for instance, which inhabits deep cold waters of the North Atlantic, can live for more than 400 years, making it the longest-lived vertebrate known to science. These creatures embody patience, living on timescales far beyond human experience. Our 31st fact is about pressure. At the bottom of the Mariana Trench, pressure is more than 1,000 times what we feel at sea level. To compare, it would be like the weight of 50 jumbo jets pressing down on your body. Yet, some creatures, from tiny microbes to larger animals, survive and thrive there. Their cells adapted to withstand crushing forces. Fact 32 takes us to deep-sea corals. Unlike their shallow water relatives that need sunlight, these corals live in darkness, feeding on plankton drifting from above. They can grow into massive structures, some thousands of years old. These deep reefs, hidden from view, are vital habitats for marine life. Though they remain little studied and fragile against disturbance, our 33rd fact reminds us that the deep is not silent in every way. Many animals communicate with clicks, pulses, and low-frequency sounds. The blue whale, for example, produces calls that can travel hundreds of kilometers underwater. The ocean is a soundscape where survival often depends on the ability to hear or be heard in the darkness. Fact 34 returns us to hydrothermal vents, where scientists have discovered extremophiles, microorganisms that thrive in boiling, mineral-rich water. These microbes hint at how life may have begun on Earth billions of years ago, and even suggest how life might exist on icy moons like Europa or Enceladus, where oceans lie hidden beneath frozen crusts. The deep sea connects not only to Earth's history, but also to possibilities beyond our world. Finally, our 35th fact reflects on exploration itself. Despite modern technology, much of the deep remains unmapped. Each expedition uncovers new species, strange formations, and surprising behaviors. The ocean's greatest mystery may be that we still know so little of it. As the poet once said, we are more familiar with the surface of the moon than the floor of our own seas. As we close this part, imagine yourself drifting into the deep, surrounded by glowing lights, towering vents, and creatures moving slowly in eternal night. It is a place both alien and deeply connected to us. A reminder of how small, yet how curious, humanity is within the greater web of life. In the next part, we will rise again to the sunlit shallows and explore coral reefs, coasts, and the vibrant zones where land and sea meet in dazzling beauty. As we rise from the silent depths, light begins to shimmer through the water once more. The shallows welcome us with warmth and color, a realm of abundance where the sea and the sun dance together. Here we find coral reefs, mangrove forests, and coastal ecosystems that sustain not only marine life, but also human culture, economy, and travel. Our 36th fact begins with coral reefs, often described as the rainforests of the ocean. Though they cover less than 1% of the seafloor, reefs provide a home for about a quarter of all known marine species. Fish weave through colorful corals, crabs hide in crevices, and sea turtles glide gracefully overhead. These reefs are biodiversity hotspots, delicate yet vital for the balance of life in the tropics. Fact 37 turns to the architecture of corals themselves. Each coral reef is built by tiny animals called polyps. These creatures, no larger than a grain of rice, secrete calcium carbonate to form hard skeletons. Over centuries, millions of polyps create vast reef structures, such as Australia's Great Barrier Reef, the largest living structure on Earth, visible even from space. Our 38th fact considers the services reefs provide for humanity. They act as natural breakwaters, absorbing wave energy and protecting coasts from storms. Economically, reefs generate billions each year through fishing, tourism, and luxury travel industries. They are also sources of potential medical discoveries, as compounds from coral organisms are studied for treatments of diseases ranging from cancer to infections. For our 39th fact, let us move to mangrove forests. Found along tropical coastlines, these unique trees grow with their roots in salt water. Mangroves provide nurseries for fish, shelter for birds, and protection for coasts against erosion. Their tangled roots also store immense amounts of carbon, making them important allies in the fight against climate change. Fact 40 introduces seagrass meadows, often overlooked but equally essential. Like underwater fields, seagrasses stabilize sediments, filter water, and provide food for creatures such as manatees and green sea turtles. These meadows are also among the most efficient ecosystems at capturing carbon dioxide, quietly working to balance Earth's climate. Our 41st fact is about lagoons. Calm waters separated from the open sea by reefs or sandbars. These sheltered spaces are havens for fish and birds, as well as cultural centers for human communities. From the Maldives in the Indian Ocean to the atolls of the Pacific, lagoons are treasured for their beauty, their tourism, economy, and their ecological importance. Fact 42 brings us to estuaries, where rivers meet the sea. These brackish waters are rich in nutrients, creating some of the most productive ecosystems on Earth. Estuaries serve as nurseries for countless marine species and as feeding grounds for migratory birds. They also support local economies, providing fish, shellfish, and fertile lands for farming nearby. For our 43rd fact, we linger on the intertidal zone, the strip of coast that shifts between land and sea with the rhythm of tides. Life here must adapt to constant change. Crabs scuttle between rocks, barnacles cling tightly, and tide pools hide starfish and anemones. This ever-changing border reminds us that the ocean is not static, but alive with cycles, movement, and balance. Fact 44 celebrates islands formed by corals and coasts. Atolls, like those in the Maldives, are ring-shaped islands created when volcanic islands sink, leaving coral reefs that remain above water. These formations become sanctuaries for birds, turtles, and people alike, offering beauty and livelihood while depending on the delicate health of the surrounding sea. Our 45th fact turns to the human relationship with coasts. More than 40% of the world's population lives within 100 kilometers of the ocean. Cities such as Tokyo, Mumbai, Lagos, and New York thrive along coasts, drawing on the sea for trade, food, culture, and identity. Coastal zones are therefore both the most vibrant and the most vulnerable places on Earth, balancing human progress with natural fragility. As this part closes, imagine warm waters shimmering in sunlight, reefs alive with fish, mangrove roots cradling life, and coasts bustling with culture. The shallow seas are where human civilization meets the richness of marine ecosystems. They are the visible face of the ocean, as fragile as they are beautiful. In the next part, we will explore the power of tides, waves, and currents, the ceaseless motions that shape coastlines, guide sailors, and connect distant lands. The ocean is never still, even when its surface seems calm. Vast movements stir its waters. Waves roll across beaches. Tides rise and fall with celestial rhythm, and deep currents carry heat and nutrients across continents. This part of our journey reveals the elegant choreography that keeps the sea in motion. Our 46th fact begins with tides, the slow breathing of the ocean. Caused by the gravitational pull of the moon and the sun, tides rise and fall twice a day in most places. The moon, being closer, has the greatest influence, drawing water into bulges on the side of Earth facing it, and on the opposite side. As the Earth rotates, we experience high and low tides. This cycle has shaped human activity for millennia, from fishing and navigation to religious rituals aligned with the sea. Fact 47 reminds us that tides can be dramatic. In the Bay of Fundy, between Canada and the United States, tidal differences can reach over 16 meters, the highest in the world. Entire boats rise and sink with the tide, revealing mudflats at low water and swallowing them again hours later. Such extremes show how powerful the moon's pull on Earth's waters can be. Our 48th fact takes us to waves. Tides are slow and steady. Waves are energetic and immediate. They are formed primarily by wind transferring energy to the water. Small ripples grow into rolling swells, and in storms, they can become towering walls of water. Waves also sculpt coastlines, eroding cliffs and building beaches, constantly reshaping the boundary between land and sea. Fact 49 turns to rogue waves. Rare, giant waves that appear suddenly, far larger than the surrounding sea. Once thought to be myths told by sailors, rogue waves have now been confirmed by modern instruments. They can reach heights of 30 meters or more, capable of damaging even large ships. Their existence is a reminder of the ocean's unpredictability and mystery. Our 50th fact explores tsunamis. Unlike ordinary waves created by wind, tsunamis are triggered by undersea earthquakes, volcanic eruptions, or landslides. They can travel across entire oceans at the speed of a jet plane, with waves that rise dramatically when reaching shallow coasts. Tsunamis are forces of destruction, but they also inspire advances in technology, monitoring, and education to keep coastal populations safer. Fact 51 draws us to ocean currents, the rivers within the sea. Surface currents, driven by winds and shaped by Earth's rotation, form great gyres, swirling systems that dominate each ocean basin. The North Atlantic Gyre, for example, includes the Gulf Stream, which warms Europe and stabilizes climates across continents. Without these currents, the global economy, agriculture, and travel would be very different. 52nd, beneath the surface, lies the thermaline circulation, sometimes called the ocean conveyor belt. Driven by differences in temperature and salinity, it moves water slowly through the deep ocean, connecting all seas into a single planet-spanning system. This hidden circulation helps regulate climate, store carbon, and transport nutrients, making it one of Earth's most important processes. Our 53rd fact reflects on the equatorial currents. Along the equator, currents flow steadily from east to west, shaping weather patterns across the tropics. When these currents weaken or shift, phenomena such as El Niño and La Niña arise, influencing rainfall, drought, and storm activity across the globe. Here, we see how distant oceans can affect economies, agriculture, and even daily life thousands of kilometers away. Fact 54 reminds us that currents also support migration. Species like sea turtles and eels use them as highways, traveling vast distances with less effort. The European eel, for instance, spawns in the Sargasso Sea, and its young drift with currents back toward Europe and North Africa. These migrations are ancient, woven into the fabric of life itself. Our 55th fact takes us to the interaction of waves, tides, and currents with human culture. Sailors, for centuries, relied on these patterns to travel, trade, and explore. Modern economies still depend on shipping routes shaped by currents, while surfers and coastal communities celebrate the rhythms of waves and tides. This ceaseless movement connects the ocean to human history and imagination. As this part closes, picture the sea in motion, tides swelling with lunar grace, waves rolling endlessly across horizons, and invisible currents linking continents together. The ocean's rhythms are ancient, powerful, and inseparable from life on Earth. In the next part, we will explore the wonders of ocean biodiversity. From the smallest plankton to the largest whales, each a thread in the tapestry of marine life. The ocean is more than water in motion. It is alive with countless beings, from the tiniest drifting plankton to the majestic whales that roam its vast expanse. In this part of our calm journey, we pause to marvel at the diversity of life the sea holds. A world where size, shape, and survival strategies vary in extraordinary ways. Our 56th fact begins with plankton, the small drifters of the ocean. Plankton are divided into phytoplankton, which are plant-like and perform photosynthesis, and zooplankton, which are animal-like and feed on others. Though invisible to the naked eye, they form the base of the marine food web. Without plankton, fish, whales, and even humans would lack the oxygen and nutrients that sustain life. Fact 57 expands on the importance of phytoplankton. These microscopic organisms produce about half of the Earth's oxygen. Each breath you take is a gift, partly given by the sea. They also capture carbon dioxide, pulling greenhouse gases from the atmosphere and sinking them into the deep when they die. In this quiet way, plankton regulate both the air we breathe and the climate we live in. Our 58th fact introduces krill. These tiny, shrimp-like creatures swarm in enormous numbers, forming the main diet of many whales, seals, and seabirds. In the Southern Ocean, krill swarms can stretch 4 kilometers, a shimmering field of life upon which entire ecosystems depend. Without krill, the great whales, the giants of the sea, could not survive. Fact 59 turns to the coral reef fish, dazzling in their colors and variety. From the clownfish sheltered in anemones to the parrotfish that bite and grind coral, these species bring vibrancy to reef ecosystems. Their diversity supports tourism, local economies, and global fascination with the beauty of tropical seas. For our 60th fact, we rise to the surface with seabirds. Albatrosses, with wingspans reaching over 3 meters, glide for weeks without landing, following ocean winds across entire basins. They nest on remote islands, their life cycle intertwined with the rhythms of the sea. Seabirds remind us that the ocean does not end at the waterline. It reaches into the skies above. Fact 61 brings us to marine mammals. Dolphins, orcas, and seals live complex social lives in the ocean. Dolphins communicate with clicks and whistles, showing signs of intelligence and cooperation. Orcas travel in pods with distinct dialects, passing knowledge from one generation to the next. These mammals remind us that culture, memory, and learning are not uniquely human traits. Our 62nd fact is about the great whales. The blue whale, the largest animal ever to have lived, can grow over 30 meters long and weigh more than 150 tons. Its heart alone is the size of a small car. Yet, despite their size, blue whales feed primarily on tiny krill, filtering them through biling plates in their mouths. Giants sustained by miniature life. A paradox that speaks to the delicate balance of nature. Fact 63 considers sharks the guardians of the sea. These ancient creatures have existed for more than 400 million years, long before the dinosaurs. Apex predators, like the great white shark, maintain balance by controlling populations of other species. Without sharks, ecosystems can collapse, showing how even the most feared animals are vital for stability. 64th, we dive to the octopus, a creature of remarkable intelligence. With 3 hearts, blue blood, and the ability to change color and shape, octopuses are masters of survival. They solve puzzles, escape enclosures, and display curiosity that fascinates scientists. In the stillness of the ocean, their flexibility and creativity are a reminder of life's adaptability. Fact 65 closes this part with the concept of biodiversity itself. The ocean holds an estimated 2.2 million species, though only a fraction have been described by science. New discoveries are made every year. Strange fish, glowing jellyfish, and organisms with features unlike anything on land. The ocean is a library still unopened, its pages filled with stories waiting to be read. As we leave this part behind, imagine yourself floating among whales, plankton, fish, and birds, surrounded by an endless web of life, each creature connected to the other. The ocean's biodiversity is a living miracle, fragile yet immense, hidden yet essential. In the next part, we will dive into the economy of the ocean, exploring how trade, resources, and technology have made the sea central to human prosperity. The ocean is not only a realm of mystery and life, it is also a foundation of the global economy, shaping trade, travel, and resources that sustain humanity. From the earliest sailing canoes to today's vast container ships, from salt harvested on shores to advanced technologies pulling energy from waves, the sea has always been intertwined with prosperity. Our 66th fact begins with trade. More than 80% of global trade by volume travels across the ocean. Massive container ships carry goods between continents, electronics, clothing, food, and raw materials. The port of Shanghai alone handles over 40 million shipping containers each year, making it one of the busiest hubs in human history. Without maritime trade, modern economies would not function. Fact 67 brings us to fisheries. The ocean provides nearly 20% of the animal protein consumed worldwide. For billions of people, especially in coastal and island communities, fish is not only food, but culture and identity. The fishing industry also generates employment for more than 200 million people. Yet, with this reliance comes responsibility, as overfishing threatens many species and ecosystems. Our 68th fact highlights luxury and tourism. Coastal destinations, from the Caribbean to the Mediterranean, attract travelers seeking beaches, reefs, and cruises. Marine tourism generates trillions in revenue annually, from small island economies to global travel giants. For many, the sea represents both leisure and luxury, a space where culture, hospitality, and nature blend together. Fact 69 turns to shipping technology. Today's largest cargo ships can carry more than 24,000 containers, stacked like towering blocks across their decks. These vessels are longer than 4 football fields and represent some of the most efficient transport machines ever built. They connect supply chains from Asia to Europe, from Africa to the Americas, making the ocean a moving highway of commerce. 70th, let us reflect on energy. Oceans provide both fossil fuels and renewable sources. Offshore oil and gas platforms extract energy from beneath the seabed, supplying much of the global economy. At the same time, waves, tides, and offshore winds are increasingly tapped for renewable power, hinting at a sustainable future where the sea becomes a cleaner source of energy. Our 71st fact looks at seabed mining. The ocean floor holds valuable minerals, including cobalt, nickel, and rare earth elements used in modern technology, though still controversial due to environmental concerns. This frontier of extraction shows how the sea may play a role in powering our phones, computers, and electric vehicles. Fact 72 draws us back to ports, those meeting points of land and sea. Cities like Rotterdam, Singapore, and Los Angeles thrive because of their harbors. Ports are more than economic centers. They are cultural crossroads where people, languages, and ideas exchange alongside goods. From ancient Phoenician harbors to today's megaports, these gateways shape civilizations. 73rd, the ocean's economy also includes pharmaceuticals. Many marine organisms produce chemicals to defend themselves, and scientists study these compounds for human medicine. Some treatments for cancer, pain, and infections trace their origins to sponges, corals, or algae. The ocean is not only a provider of food and trade, but also a hidden pharmacy. Fact 74 considers the role of insurance and finance. Maritime risks, from storms to piracy, gave rise to some of the earliest forms of insurance. In 1688, Lloyd's of London began as a coffee house where shipowners and merchants gathered to insure voyages. Today, marine insurance remains vital, ensuring global shipping continues even in uncertain seas. Our 75th fact closes this part with the reality of economic dependence. Coastal megacities, fishing industries, tourism, shipping, and energy all rely on the ocean. More than 3 billion people worldwide depend directly on marine resources for their livelihoods. The ocean is not simply a backdrop to prosperity. It is its foundation. As this part ends, imagine the invisible networks of ships crossing oceans, the fish markets bustling at dawn, and the quiet hum of offshore wind turbines turning. The ocean sustains not only ecosystems, but also economies, binding together the fortunes of nations and the daily lives of billions. In the next part, we will step into the cultural dimension of the sea, its myths, legends, and the way it has shaped human imagination across history. Beyond its economic power, the ocean has always lived in the imagination of humankind. For millennia, it has been a place of awe and reverence, woven into myths, legends, and cultural traditions across the world. Tonight, we drift into this softer realm where the sea is not only water, but story, symbol, and song. Our 76th fact begins with ancient Greece. The Greeks personified the sea as Poseidon, the god who ruled the waters with a trident. Sailors prayed for his favor before journeys, offering sacrifices to ensure calm passage. Storms at sea were thought to be his anger, a reminder of the ocean's unpredictable strength. Fact 77 turns to Norse mythology. The Vikings spoke of Jarmungandr, the Midgard serpent, so enormous that it encircled the entire world beneath the sea. Legends told that when the serpent stirred, storms and earthquakes followed. For seafaring cultures, the ocean's depth and mystery often gave rise to images of mighty creatures dwelling below. Our 78th fact comes from Polynesian traditions. Navigators, such as those in Hawaii and Samoa, viewed the ocean not as a barrier, but as a pathway connecting islands and families. Stories of creation often began in the sea, where gods and ancestors shaped the world. The chants of wayfinders, memorized and passed down, served both as navigation tools and as cultural poetry, preserving history across the waves. Fact 79 leads us to Japan, where the sea goddess Watsasumi was believed to guard fishermen and sailors. Shrines were often built along the coast to honor her, blending Shinto spirituality with the practical reality of life near the sea. Even today, festivals in Japan celebrate the ocean, its bounty, and its spiritual role in human life. Our 80th fact explores mermaids, which appear in folklore across continents. From the sirens of ancient Greece, who lured sailors with enchanting songs, to the benevolent sea maidens in Slavic and African traditions, mermaids reflect both the beauty and danger of the ocean. Their presence in myth speaks to humanity's fascination with the unknown world beneath the waves. Fact 81 looks at the role of the ocean in literature. From Homer's Odyssey to Herman Melville's Moby Dick, the sea has symbolized adventure, struggle, and the human confrontation with nature's immensity. Writers often use the ocean as a mirror for the soul, infinite and mysterious, reflecting both fear and hope. 82nd, we pause with music. Many coastal cultures created songs tied to the rhythms of the sea. Sea shanties, sung by sailors during work, kept time with the pull of ropes and sails. These songs not only coordinated labor, but also preserved culture, stories, and humor across long voyages. Music made the endless horizon feel closer, more human. Fact 83 turns to religion. In Hindu tradition, the ocean is the realm of Varuna, the god of cosmic order and water. In Christianity, the sea is often symbolic of both chaos and creation, appearing in biblical passages that speak of divine power calming the waters. Across beliefs, the ocean becomes a metaphor for the unknown and the eternal. From the woodblock prints of Hokusai's Great Wave off Kanagawa to Turner's stormy seascapes, artists have long sought to capture the motion, light, and spirit of the ocean. These works remind us that the sea inspires not only survival, but also creativity, fueling visions that span cultures and centuries. Fact 85 closes this part with the shared human experience of the horizon. No matter where we stand along the shore, the ocean stretches beyond sight, a symbol of both possibility and mystery. Cultures across the globe, though distant from one another, have always looked at the sea and felt the same mixture of wonder, fear, and longing. The ocean, in this way, unites us in imagination as much as it does in geography. As this part draws to a close, imagine waves not only as natural rhythms, but as ancient voices carrying stories from every coast. The sea is both teacher and storyteller, a canvas for human dreams. In the next part, we will explore the science of the ocean's chemistry, its salt, its acidity, and the subtle balances that make life within it possible. The ocean is not just a vast body of water. It is a carefully balanced chemical system, a mixture of salts, gases, and minerals that makes life possible. In this part of our calm exploration, we sink into the invisible elements that shape the sea, quietly sustaining ecosystems and influencing the entire planet. Our 86th fact begins with salinity. The ocean's saltiness averages about 35 parts per thousand, meaning that for every liter of seawater, about 35 grams are dissolved salts. These salts come from rocks on land, slowly eroded by rivers and carried to the sea over millions of years. Without this balance, marine life, as we know it, could not exist. Fact 87 reveals that sodium chloride, the same compound as table salt, makes up about 85% of ocean salinity, but other elements are present as well. Magnesium, calcium, potassium, and sulfate. Together, they create a mineral-rich environment that shapes the physiology of marine creatures, from plankton to whales. Our 88th fact explores oxygen in the sea. Just like in the air, oxygen is vital for life underwater. It enters the ocean from the atmosphere and from photosynthesis by phytoplankton. Oxygen levels are highest near the surface, where sunlight and air mix, but they can drop dangerously low in deep or enclosed areas. These oxygen-poor dead zones can suffocate fish and marine ecosystems. Fact 89 looks at carbon dioxide. The ocean absorbs about 25% of the carbon dioxide humans release into the atmosphere. This makes the ocean one of the most important regulators of Earth's climate. However, too much carbon dioxide leads to ocean acidification, a process that lowers pH and threatens organisms like corals and shellfish that rely on calcium carbonate to build their structures. Our 90th fact focuses on pH balance. The ocean's average pH is around 8.1, slightly alkaline. This delicate balance allows ecosystems to thrive. Even small shifts toward acidity can disrupt food chains, weaken coral reefs, and impact fisheries. Ocean chemistry, though unseen, is as critical to global stability as the atmosphere above us. Fact 91 reminds us of trace elements. Iron, zinc, and copper exist in the ocean in minuscule amounts, yet they are essential for marine life. Phytoplankton, for example, rely on iron for photosynthesis. In regions where iron is scarce, scientists sometimes speak of iron deserts, places where life is limited, not by sunlight, but by chemistry. Our 92nd fact is about nutrients, nitrate and phosphate, delivered by rivers and upwelling currents. Fuel plankton blooms that feed entire ecosystems. These nutrients are like fertilizers for the sea, transforming vast stretches of water into vibrant feeding grounds for fish, whales, and seabirds. Fact 93 turns to the role of silica. When they die, their remains sink to the seafloor, creating thick deposits over geological time. These layers of microscopic glass have even been used by humans as filtering materials and abrasives. In this way, ocean chemistry touches both biology and industry. Our 94th fact considers dissolved gases beyond oxygen and carbon dioxide. Nitrogen, for instance, makes up a large portion of gases in seawater, cycling through bacteria that transform it into forms usable by life. Methane also seeps from the seabed, sometimes forming ice-like structures known as methane hydrate, which could one day become an energy source. Fact 95 closes this part with the recognition that ocean chemistry is dynamic, not static. Currents, temperature, and human activity all shift its balance. From the salt on your lips after a swim to the oxygen in your lungs, the chemistry of the ocean flows into daily human life, a silent but constant connection. As this part ends, picture the sea not only as water, but as a living solution. A blend of salts, gases, and nutrients carefully tuned over millions of years. The ocean's chemistry is an unseen foundation, sustaining life both within and far beyond its waves. In the next part, we will journey into the technology of ocean exploration. From ancient tools to the modern machines that allow us to map and study the deep. For most of human history, the ocean's depths remained hidden, a dark and unreachable world. Yet curiosity has always driven people to invent tools that push the boundaries of exploration. From the earliest rafts and star maps to today's submarines and satellites, the technology of ocean exploration has gradually illuminated the sea's mysteries. Our 96th fact begins with ancient navigation. Thousands of years ago, Polynesian wayfinders crossed vast distances of the Pacific Ocean using only the stars, the flight of birds, and the patterns of waves. Their wooden canoes, guided by memory and chant, carried families across thousands of kilometers. A feat of exploration achieved without modern instruments. Fact 97 brings us to the compass. Invented in China more than 2,000 years ago, the magnetic compass transformed navigation. By aligning with Earth's magnetic field, it gave sailors a reliable way to determine direction, even when skies were cloudy. The compass opened the seas to global travel, trade, and discovery. Our 98th fact looks at the age of cartography. During the 15th and 16th centuries, explorers such as Vasco da Gama and Ferdinand Magellan relied on increasingly accurate maps to cross oceans. These charts, filled with artistic flourishes of sea monsters and ornate borders, were as much expressions of culture as they were tools of navigation. Fact 99 introduces the sextant. Developed in the 18th century, this instrument allowed sailors to measure the angle of the sun or stars against the horizon, pinpointing their latitude with remarkable accuracy. The sextant was a bridge between the natural world and mathematics, helping travelers chart their course across open seas. Our 100th fact celebrates the invention of submarines. The first experimental models appeared in the 1600s, but it wasn't until the 20th century that submarines could dive deep and stay underwater for extended periods. These vessels opened a window into the underwater world, allowing scientists and explorers to observe life in its natural habitat. Fact 101 takes us to diving technology. The invention of the scuba system in the 1940s by Jacques Cousteau and Émile Gagnon revolutionized exploration. For the first time, humans could swim freely underwater with portable breathing equipment, turning the ocean into a place not only of mystery, but of direct human experience. 102nd, we dive deeper with remotely operated vehicles, or ROVs. These machines, connected by cables to research ships, can withstand pressures far beyond human limits. Equipped with cameras, robotic arms, and sensors, ROVs have discovered hydrothermal vents. Fact 103 explores satellites. From far above Earth, satellites monitor ocean currents, sea levels, and temperatures. They track storms, measure ice cover, and even detect algae blooms. Though they never touch the water, satellites have given humanity a bird's-eye view of the entire ocean at once. Something impossible only a century ago. Our 104th fact highlights sonar. Sound waves, bouncing through water, allow scientists to map the seafloor. Sonar has revealed mountain ranges, trenches, and ridges hidden beneath the waves. With it, we have discovered that the longest mountain range on Earth is not on land, but under the sea. The Mid-Atlantic Ridge. Fact 105 closes this part with the idea of future technology. Concepts such as autonomous underwater drones, artificial intelligence for mapping, and even deep-sea habitats for humans are being developed. The ocean, though vast and mysterious, grows less hidden with each innovation. Yet, for all our progress, more than 80% of the seafloor remains unmapped. As this part ends, imagine the long arc of exploration, from sailors guided by the stars to machines roaming the abyssal plains. Technology is our bridge to the unknown, extending human curiosity into places we could never reach alone. In the next part, we will explore the dramatic power of the ocean in natural disasters, tsunamis, hurricanes, and storms that remind us of the sea's immense force. The ocean, calm and life-giving, can also transform into a force of unimaginable power. Its vastness stores energy that under certain conditions, erupts as storms, floods, or towering waves. These events, though destructive, reveal the raw strength of the sea and remind us of humanity's delicate relationship with nature. Our 106th fact begins with hurricanes, also known as cyclones or typhoons, depending on their location. These massive storms form over warm ocean waters, drawing energy from heat and moisture. Their spiraling winds can reach speeds over 250 kilometers per hour, powerful enough to level buildings and flood entire coastlines. The ocean is both their cradle and their fuel. Fact 107 considers storm surges. When a hurricane makes landfall, the wind and pressure changes push seawater onto the shore, raising sea levels dramatically. Storm surges can drown coastal cities within hours, making them one of the deadliest aspects of tropical storms. Modern forecasting and evacuation systems exist because of this dangerous link between atmosphere and ocean. Our 108th fact turns to tsunamis, triggered by undersea earthquakes, landslides, or volcanic eruptions. These waves can cross entire oceans. They travel at jet-like speeds, sometimes exceeding 800 kilometers per hour, before rising suddenly along coastlines. The 2004 Indian Ocean tsunami remains one of the most devastating natural disasters in history, claiming over 200,000 lives across multiple countries. Fact 109 reminds us that not all tsunamis come from earthquakes. In 1958, a massive landslide in Alaska's Litchria Bay generated a wave that reached a record height of 524 meters, the tallest wave ever observed. Though confined to a narrow fjord, it demonstrated the ocean's ability to amplify geological forces into almost unimaginable extremes. Our 110th fact explores El Niño and La Niña. These cycles of ocean temperature shifts in the Pacific influence weather across the globe. El Niño can bring drought to Australia, floods to South America, and alter hurricane seasons in the Atlantic. La Niña often has opposite effects. These patterns highlight how even small changes in ocean temperature can ripple across economies, agriculture, and daily life worldwide. Fact 111 examines coastal erosion. While not as sudden as a storm, the ocean slowly reshapes coastlines through wave action and rising sea levels. Entire villages have been relocated as beaches retreat, cliffs collapse, and wetlands vanish. This quiet, relentless power reshapes human settlements as surely as dramatic disasters do. Our 112th fact considers the role of volcanoes in the sea. Underwater eruptions can displace huge volumes of water, generating waves and altering currents. The 2022 eruption of Hunga Tonga Hunga Apai in the Pacific sent shockwaves across the planet and triggered tsunamis as far away as South America. The ocean is not only affected by disasters, it amplifies them. Fact 113 looks at flooding linked to melting ice. Glaciers and ice sheets lose mass. The ocean rises, flooding coastal zones. Cities like Jakarta, Miami, and Venice already battle this encroachment. Sea level rise is slower than a storm surge, but equally relentless, turning the ocean itself into a creeping natural disaster. Our 114th fact highlights rogue waves once again, but through the lens of risk. For centuries, these massive walls of water were dismissed as sailors' tales. Today, they are measured and confirmed, posing real danger to ships and offshore platforms. Rogue waves remind us that the ocean surface can surprise even in seemingly calm conditions. Fact 115 closes this part by emphasizing the duality of the sea. It sustains life, shapes climate, and supports economies, but it also brings storms, floods, and waves of destruction. Understanding its power through science, technology, and preparedness is one of humanity's greatest challenges in the age of global change. As this part ends, imagine the sea not only as a gentle lull, but as a restless force capable of shaping history in ours. Its disasters, though fearsome, are part of the same system that nurtures life on Earth. In the next part, we will rise to the beauty of coastal wonders, cliffs, beaches, and lagoons where the ocean meets the land in forms both dramatic and serene. The boundary where ocean meets land is a place of extraordinary beauty and diversity. Coastlines hold towering cliffs, hidden coves, golden beaches, and tranquil lagoons. For humans, these edges of the sea have always been places of settlement, trade, and wonder. In this part, we drift gently along these shores, uncovering their secrets. Our 116th fact begins with cliffs. The cliffs of Moher in Ireland rise more than 200 meters above the Atlantic, offering breathtaking views of crashing waves below. Such cliffs are shaped by relentless erosion, where wind and sea slowly carve the land into dramatic walls. They stand as reminders of the ocean's artistry across millennia. Fact 117 takes us to sandy beaches. These stretches of golden or white grains are formed from eroded rocks and corals, carried by waves and currents. Some beaches are pink, made from tiny shells, while others are black, born of volcanic eruptions. Each beach is a reflection of the geology that surrounds it, telling a quiet story of Earth's past. Our 110th fact focuses on lagoons. Found behind coral reefs or sandbars, lagoons are calm, shallow waters, often rich in life. The Maldives, for example, are famous for their turquoise lagoons, where tourism, luxury, and natural wonder converge. These tranquil spaces reveal the softer, gentler side of the sea. Fact 119 brings us to estuaries, where rivers meet the ocean. Estuaries are nurseries for marine life, with nutrient-rich waters that support fish, birds, and plants. They also protect inland areas by absorbing floods. Cities like New York, London, and Shanghai all grew at estuaries, where the mixing of fresh and salt water encouraged both life and trade. Our 120th fact looks at fjords. These deep, narrow inlets are carved by glaciers and filled with seawater. Norway's fjords, with their steep walls and mirror-like waters, are among the most iconic. They are places where geology and ocean intertwine, creating some of the world's most dramatic coastal landscapes. Fact 1-100-21 considers coral atolls. These ring-shaped islands form when volcanoes sink below the sea, leaving reefs behind that circle, a central lagoon. The Marshall Islands and the Maldives are prime examples, places where culture and geography are inseparable. Atolls are fragile, yet their beauty and biodiversity attract travelers from around the world. Our 122nd fact turns to mangrove forests. Found along tropical coasts, mangroves are trees that thrive in salt water, their tangled roots rising above the surface. They protect shorelines from erosion, provide habitat for countless species, and act as carbon sinks. Mangroves show how life adapts beautifully to the meeting of land and sea. Fact 1-100-20-3 highlights tidal flats. These wide, muddy areas are revealed at low tide, teeming with crabs, worms, and birds feeding on the exposed nutrients. The Wadden Sea in northern Europe is the largest tidal flat system in the world, recognized as a UNESCO World Heritage Site. To walk across a tidal flat is to witness the rhythms of the sea at close hand. Our 1-100-20-4th fact brings us to sea caves. Carved by waves into cliffs, these hidden chambers echo with the sound of water. Some, like the Blue Grotto in Capri, Italy, glow with an otherworldly light as sunlight filters through the water. Sea caves are natural cathedrals where geology and light combine to create mystery. Fact 125 closes this part with barrier islands. These long, narrow islands form parallel to the coast, protecting shorelines from storms and erosion. The Outer Banks of North Carolina are a striking example, offering both natural beauty and cultural history tied to seafaring and exploration. As this part ends, imagine yourself gliding along coasts, past cliffs and beaches, into lagoons and fjords, through mangroves and caves. Each formation is a testament to the patient work of the ocean, sculpting landscapes that inspire both travel and reflection. In the next part, we will look at the ocean's role in climate, how it regulates weather, absorbs heat, and acts as Earth's great stabilizer. The ocean is not only a body of water filled with life, it is Earth's great climate engine. Its vast currents, heat storage, and ability to absorb gases regulate the planet's weather and temperature, making it habitable for humanity. In this part, we gently explore how the sea quietly shapes the air we breathe and the climate we depend on. Our 1-100-20-6th fact begins with heat absorption. The ocean absorbs more than 90% of the excess heat trapped by greenhouse gases. Without this, global temperatures would rise far more quickly. The ocean acts as a buffer, protecting the planet, though at a cost to its ecosystems. Fact 1-100-27 focuses on currents as conveyors of heat. The Gulf Stream, flowing from the Gulf of Mexico toward Europe, carries warm water across the Atlantic. This single current moderates climates across continents, keeping northern Europe far milder than other regions at the same latitude. Without it, much of the world's agriculture and economy would be very different. Our 1-100-20-8th fact considers upwelling zones. In certain coastal areas, winds push surface water aside, allowing cold, nutrient-rich waters from below to rise. These regions become some of the most productive fisheries on Earth, supporting economies and food security. Upwelling shows how the ocean regulates not only climate, but also human livelihoods. Fact 1-100-20-9 turns to the ocean's role in the carbon cycle. As we've seen before, the sea absorbs about a quarter of the carbon dioxide released by human activity. Some of this gas is used by plankton and then sinks with them into the deep. This natural process, known as the biological pump, is one of Earth's most important climate regulators. Our 130th fact looks at El Niño, the warm phase of a climate cycle in the Pacific Ocean. When trade winds weaken, warm water spreads eastward, disrupting rainfall, causing droughts, and altering weather patterns across the globe. Farmers, travelers, and entire economies feel its effects, a reminder of how local ocean changes ripple globally. Fact 130. One considers its counterpart, La Niña, in this phase. Stronger winds push warm water westward, leading to cooler temperatures in the Pacific. La Niña often brings heavier monsoons to Asia and drier conditions to the Americas. Together, El Niño and La Niña illustrate the ocean's delicate control over rainfall and agriculture. Our 1-100-30- second highlights monsoons. These seasonal wind systems are tied directly to the temperature of the Indian Ocean. Billions of people depend on monsoons for water, agriculture, and daily life. When the ocean shifts, entire societies feel its pulse. Fact 133 explores the polar seas. The Arctic and Antarctic oceans play a vital role in reflecting sunlight with their ice cover. As ice melts, darker waters absorb more heat, accelerating warming. This feedback loop ties the ocean directly to global climate change, with consequences for sea level, weather, and ecosystems. Our 1-100-30- fourth focuses on hurricanes and typhoons. Warmer oceans provide more energy to these storms, increasing their intensity. Thus, climate change is not only an atmospheric issue, but an oceanic one, with seas acting as both the trigger and the amplifier of extreme weather. Fact 135 closes this part with a reminder. The ocean is Earth's great stabilizer. Its currents, chemistry, and cycles are all part of a system that maintains balance. As humans alter this balance, the ocean responds, quietly but profoundly. To understand climate, we must always begin with the sea. As this part comes to an end, imagine the ocean as a silent heart, pumping heat, gases, and nutrients around the world. Each wave, each current, is part of a larger rhythm that keeps Earth alive. In the final part, we will look toward the future, the challenges, hopes, and opportunities of protecting the ocean for generations to come. As we arrive at the final part of our journey, we turn our attention to the horizon ahead. The ocean has sustained life, shaped cultures, and regulated Earth's climate for millions of years. Yet today, it faces pressures unlike any before. Pollution, overfishing, warming, and acidification test its resilience. But alongside these challenges, there is hope in science, in education, in conservation, and in humanity's growing recognition that our future and the oceans are inseparable. Our 1-100-30- fact begins with plastic pollution. Each year, more than 8 million tons of plastic enter the sea. From floating bottles to microscopic fragments, these plastics harm marine life and enter food chains, reaching even our dinner tables. Yet, global movements to reduce single-use plastics and clean coastlines are rising, signaling a collective shift toward responsibility. Fact 1-100-30-7 reflects on overfishing. Many of the world's fish populations are under strain, with some species pushed to collapse. However, sustainable practices, from catch limits to marine protected areas, are helping certain populations recover. Examples, such as the North Atlantic swordfish, show that, with patience, ecosystems can rebound. Our 1-100-30-8 fact highlights coral reefs. These vibrant ecosystems face bleaching from warming waters and acidification. Yet, scientists are working on coral nurseries, transplanting young corals to damaged reefs and developing resilient strains. Tourism, education, and community-led conservation are also helping protect these underwater forests of biodiversity. Fact 1-100-30-9 looks at renewable energy. Oceans hold immense potential in tides, waves, and offshore winds. As technology improves, these sources may power entire regions with clean energy. Harnessing the ocean responsibly could help reduce dependence on fossil fuels while respecting marine life. Our 140th fact considers international cooperation. The ocean belongs to no single nation. Its currents, fish, and storms move freely. Treaties such as the United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea and new global agreements on biodiversity represent humanity's effort to govern the seas collectively, balancing economy with ecology. Fact 141 focuses on marine reserves. Areas like the Great Barrier Reef Marine Park or the Papanomo-Kokia Marine National Monument protect vast stretches of ocean. Studies show that within these sanctuaries, fish populations thrive, ecosystems recover, and biodiversity flourishes. Expanding protected areas is one of the most effective tools for preserving ocean health. Our 142nd fact turns to education. Documentaries, schools, and even calming bedtime videos like this one help raise awareness of the sea's wonders. Knowledge turns curiosity into care, inspiring new generations to see the ocean not only as a resource, but as a shared home deserving of respect. Fact 143 examines technology. From AI-driven monitoring of fishing fleets to satellites tracking illegal dumping, innovation is becoming a guardian of the sea. Autonomous drones and robots can map ecosystems without disturbance, offering new ways to balance exploration with preservation. Our 1-100-40-4th fact touches on community action. Across the world, coastal villages, fishermen, and local groups are leading restoration projects, planting mangroves, cleaning beaches, and rebuilding reefs. These small efforts, multiplied across thousands of shores, ripple outward with global impact. Fact 145 closes this final part with reflection. The ocean is vast, resilient, and ancient, yet also fragile in the face of modern pressures. Its future will depend on choices humanity makes today. Choices about energy, consumption, and respect for natural balance. To protect the ocean is to protect ourselves, for its waves carry the past, present, and future of life on Earth. As this journey ends, imagine the sound of waves returning to shore, endless and patient. The ocean has always been there, watching civilizations rise and fall, offering food, travel, luxury, and inspiration. May it continue to do so, if we choose to honor it with care. Thank you for joining this calm voyage through the wonders of the sea. If you've enjoyed this time together, consider subscribing and sharing this video with others who may find comfort in its rhythms. And perhaps, tonight, as you drift into rest, let the ocean's eternal heartbeat guide you into dreams.